Okie dokie, everybody. After much deliberation and a brief hiatus, we are back once again for laying it back down with Big D. I've got these sweet summer shorts I picked up from the thrift shop here. Whether they work with most of my wardrobe, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, we are back for laying it down with Big D, and today I've got a very special guest. You may have read about him in Dust 2 US as I'm not sure what the exact title was, but a 70-year-old man makes intermediate ESEA Intermediate. Today I have Eddie E-Rab Montville. We've got his cat Bertrand up on screen. So you'll be noticing a few people on laying it down have the option of being on camera or not. And today we've got Bertrand up here. So enjoy Bertrand in a box. But today, E-Rab, how are you feeling?
Great. And Bertrand's a lot better looking than I am, so it's to everybody's benefit.
That's what you say. That's what you say. Well, thanks for joining me on this. I'm happy you're here with me. I'm happy to be yapping about Counter-Strike, and I'm gonna dive right into it. How can you take us back to your earliest memories of playing video games and how you landed onto Counter-Strike?
Oh, I started playing video games long before Counter-Strike. I started playing video games with my son on PlayStation 2. Back then they had split screen and you could play together. I was terrible, but he always told me what to do, so it worked out. Played one of the Star Wars games and Las Vegas 6, and that sort of thing. And then I got about a little less than 10 years ago, I got a PC for gaming, and I saw a video of a live game in an arena, a LAN, and this is really exciting. Well, unfortunately, they were playing Dota 2. I mean, the crowd was going nuts. I had no clue as to what was going on. But I wanted to end up with a game that had a pro scene, and I was checking some of them out, and none of them did anything for me until I saw my first Counter-Strike match. And the great thing about Counter-Strike is you can know absolutely nothing about it, but if you're watching a game being played, you can pretty much figure out what's going on. So my son got it for me for Christmas. I was 65, and that's when I started. And then I wanted to pull for a pro team. I had no idea what any of them were, but I had a SteelSeries mouse, and they were big sponsors of Fanatics, so I started following them, and I really liked Olafmeister, not only as a player but as a person. It was really cool, and I follow him to this day, and the rest, as they say, is history or something.
Well, and we're just getting started on the story. It's funny you mentioned split screen, that is something that's of a like bygone era now, or like if a game in modern times has split screen, it's like a big deal again because everybody's just playing stuff online. I miss those days of couch co-op, sitting next to somebody and yelling at the screen with them and trying to play a versus game next to somebody while you're sharing the same screen and you guys are both just staring at each other where you are on the map. It was a good time.
Yeah, I miss those days as well.
Well, do you still follow Olafmeister? What's Olafmeister up to these days? Is he about to make a big comeback?
Oh God, no. He's he starts he streams Monday through Friday. Usually starts at 3 a.m. my time, and he's actually still on the FaZe Clan roster, on the bench.
Is he still technically a player?
Technically. Yeah, he's been on the
But
bench now for 3 years. Somebody reminded him of that during a stream, and he said, "See, I set records wherever I go." So, yeah, he's a great guy. He's a good dad. He's featured his baby on the stream, and yeah, they play. Um, he and let's see, Freiberg and Gertright and Forrest, and then they got to pick up a fifth, but they call themselves the Boomer Demons, and they play together all the time. They're a blast.
that sounds like a good wholesome stream to watch of Counter-Strike for sure. Those are some of my favorite names from when I started playing as well 11 years ago. What was the? I want to go back to your journey here in Counter-Strike. What was? How did you get involved with? How did you get involved with competitive? Like, I remember reading the Dust 2 article saying, "Here's my cat sticking his ass right in your face here." My apologies. Momo's
That's
got to
what
be
they do.
yeah. Momo's got to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
How I read the Dust 2 article about you starting off as in like silver matchmaking, which is a similar journey to where most of us start in competitive Counter-Strike. But what was yours like from starting in matchmaking, and then how did you end up getting into competitive and making it to IM?
Well, when I started out, I solo queued. And I enjoyed that for the first couple of years. And then there was one year, it was like my third year, I almost quit because everybody was so toxic. But I stuck with it, and but I was looking for something, a clan or something, anything, so I didn't have to solo queue. Anyway, one of the guys I played with was Big Beef Harrison. And so we started hanging out and playing together. That was a lot of fun. And then one day he messaged me. He says, "Oh my God!" He said, "I met this guy. He's so good you can't believe it. You got to meet him." And that was Alex, Wreckmeister. And it's too bad your cat. He's got to learn to be calm.
He's putting on a whole show over here. If you could,
Oh yeah,
if
absolutely.
you can see
Oh,
it,
what a cutie!
Oh yeah,
Not as cute as mine, I have to say that.
No, but he's a big cuddle bug.
Yeah, he seems to know where the
Oh,
camera
Momo.
is.
Oh yeah, Momo. He's like, why aren't those hands on me?
So anyway, we got
he's distracting. Sorry.
yeah. Oh, that's all right. That's what cats do. So we got him in the group, and there was me and Alex and Big Beef Harrison, Slip, R54. Those were the main guys. I know I'm leaving out people. Sorry about that. Anybody I left out? And we were just playing together in competitive all the time. And then Alex is like single-handedly, he wants to make me rich and famous. We would, I'm not kidding. We would play together, and I started out when I started playing, I was a silver one, and when you're playing with those guys, you're winning a lot more than you're used to, and so my ranks steadily went up. More due to their skill than mine, but I worked hard to be a contributing member of the team. And at the end of CS:GO, I retired from CS:GO when it disappeared, and I was a global elite. Then Alex decided I needed to be on a team, and we made a team, and the Iron Wolves, and we played ESEA Open. That was a lot of fun. And but Alex is a one-man wrecking crew. And we had four level 10 players and me. And we won enough games that year to make IM. And that's how I got there. Now, unfortunately, except for Rome, all the other guys quit. Well, they went, they went on and they were playing IM and Alex was an advanced and that kind of stuff. So we still kept the team going, but when we played IM, we were getting beat pretty bad. However, regardless of map, if the other team forfeited, we were undefeated. And our defense was exemplary. No team scored more than 13 rounds against us. So, and we actually, we actually made the playoffs. That didn't last long. We played, we were like a last seed, and we were playing a top seed in the first game, and Custer's Last Stand went a lot better than we did in that game. But it's a great group of guys. We had a great time. So we've retired. Well, we've retired. The Iron Wolves was retired from league play, but we still play matchmaking, competitive, or 10-mans once or twice a week. Like we played last Friday and Saturday. And we had Big Beef Harrison and R54 Rome, and of course Alex and we had nice gamer girl whose name I can't remember. I call her STP. I think it's LTP.
Oh, Peyton, little trash panda.
Yes, yeah, she's a lot of fun to play with. So
well, she's going to be laying it down for us in Frag 19 live and in person.
Oh, cool. So anyway, yeah. Well, while we're no longer in league play, and we, right now Alex is concentrating on his career, as it were, and I think he's going to go back to school. If he quit working and not go to school, he'd have a lot more time to play Counter-Strike.
That's what I'm trying to tell these kids, but they don't have the guts to just jump right in. But I don't blame them. That is one of the issues in North American Counter-Strike, is the fact that we don't really have these pipelines or like, it's a huge gamble and a risk to try to like put that dedication and effort into going pro when you're in your early 20s coming out of college and you're like, well, I could try to do this because I'm good, but it's a gamble, or I just got out of college with this degree and could go get this steady paying job. It's a gamble right now, but I do agree, if he'd just quit his job and school, he'd have so much more time to go pro.
Yeah, I think he's good enough he could go somewhere with it too, especially in North America.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, hey, he's a good guy, and the biggest thing I've gotten out of this is, there's two things. Number one, the phrase "you are not my friend, you are my brother, my friend" applies to these guys. And
shout out to Pasha Biceps.
Yeah. He first said that to Olafmeister.
Oh, really? Was that to Olafmeister?
Yeah, the first time. Yeah, and we stay in touch all the time. We were messaging back and forth umpty 7 times during the major because they were all there. I wasn't. And very jealous. But
although everybody got horribly sick at the major, so I was a little less jealous after I saw everybody being like, I am horribly, horribly sick.
Oh no. What did they have?
A lot of I think there was a COVID outbreak at the stadium because there were quite a few people testing positive for COVID. But whatever broke out, that I know at least I know at least 5 people out of the like 7 or 8 that I knew were at the major personally that like came home and were like sick as dogs, and like they were sick for like 4 or 5 days afterwards. So I was slightly grateful I missed that, but yeah, I'm with you on being sad about missing the major. I just hope it's not another 7 years before one comes to America again. You know
Yeah, no kidding.
what? So I want to bring up something you talked about that interests me. You said you dealt with a lot of toxicity. You come from an age bracket that is not exactly represented in not just Counter Strike, but like gaming in general. And as time goes on, everybody at every age imaginable will be involved with gaming as these generations grow. So I really look at you as a pioneer, way ahead of everybody, way ahead of the times. But you said you dealt with like a lot of toxicity. Did you deal with specifically targeted toxicity from what you were doing, or what kind of toxicity did you have to deal with that you had to fight through that almost got you
Well,
to quit the whole thing? Because we're glad you didn't.
if you're, thank you. If you're playing silver, I don't know, toxicity seems to be part of it. And the more I
It
got
is,
into it,
yes.
but yeah, a lot of it was um, aimed at me. You know, I never, dodged the fact that if somebody asked, I'd, tell them how old I was. And then it would start. Do you have kids? Yeah. Do you wear diapers? Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I just all this ridiculous stuff, and it's certainly not as bad as females playing Counter Strike, but I can identify with them because I got quite a bit, and and I think the toxicity is still there. I won't solo queue anymore, except for playing deathmatch. But when I play deathmatch, you can turn everybody off and not have to listen to anything. Um, but yeah, it was so bad I almost quit. I think there was one year I had I think it was 2019. I played the most I'd ever played, and by June it's like, oh, I can't take this, and I kept playing, but it was just deathmatch, because I do enjoy that. Um, so yeah, there's too much toxicity, and to be perfectly honest, Valve doesn't care. You turn people in for griefing and stuff, and nothing ever happens.
No. It's kind of, yeah, it's sad in Counter Strike. I think one of the things that makes Valve such a unique company, especially in the modern gaming space, is that them allowing their community to do more like policing of themselves, and uh, more like Valve has always like, okay, we've released the game, now you do whatever it is you want to with it, and if you keep playing with it and modding it and making it something new, then that's your guys. But once we've released it, we're done with it, right? So any involvement that they have on some of these live service games that they do, like even TF2 to this day, but like Dota or Counter Strike, is a big deal for Valve, but on the grand scheme of things, it makes it not a very welcoming environment. There is a reason why Counter Strike attracts so many of the like most egregiously bad actors in the gaming space, because of its almost zero limitation policy as to what you can say and do on there. Like, because like you said, Valve isn't going to do anything. You
Mm-hmm.
go play a Riot game like Valorant or League of Legends, you type one word in chat and the AI is picking it up, banning your chat privileges. You know, like there's another end of the spectrum that can be argued like maybe it's too extreme, but still, it makes it hard for new players of differing, you know, demographics and people to want to get involved in this game when it's not a very inclusive environment. At the same time, though, it sometimes I feel like it forges people in a vicious fire that makes sure they really want to stick around for Counter Strike, I guess. But I wish it wasn't so nasty.
Yeah.
Um. Well, okay. I appreciate you sharing that. What about? I do want to ask, what's your favorite Counter Strike memory? Do you have one that comes to mind?
Oh, uh, I have a bunch. Um, the biggest thrills for me was when we were playing with Alex, and we were going. You know, at that time, Valve came to the realization that if you stayed in silver for any length of time, you never got out, and so they bumped everybody up, and so I was. They bumped me up to like silver elite or something, and we kept playing, and the more we won, the more the ranks moved up. And I think when I hit gold nova 1 or 2, it was like overwhelming because I never thought I'd ever get there um, at all. And of course I kept going. um, Gold nova master, yeah, I was rather choked up about that one, but then, you know, we were winning all the time, and I even went up from there, so that was pretty cool. As far as Counter Strike memories, yeah, my worst memory was watching the finals of the Boston Major. Um, right up until FaZe Clan lost, it was a good experience, and then it wasn't so good. Olaf Meister calls that major the one we shall not name or talk about. He and Nico, they don't even go there. Um, but I enjoyed. I really enjoy watching the majors and the you know, the best players um, play the game. On FaZe Clan, I really liked Twist and Rops, and I wish they were still there, but they're not. And actually, probably the most fun thing is telling my son how far up the ranks I've gotten, and you know, telling him about the lead play and stuff, and then he tells his friends, he brags to his friends what his old man's doing, and there's no greater feeling than your son thinking you're cool, at least a little bit. So yeah, and playing with these guys, like I said, we play every week, and yeah, I look forward to it. I'm worse than a little kid at Christmas when we're getting ready to play. I'm all nervous and hyped, and I have to do a great deal to get ready to play. I have chronic pain and chronic fatigue. Um, so to get wide awake and alert, let me just say buy stock in Monster, because I have considerably upped their sales. Um, you know, and I'm also ADHD, so I take Ritalin with that, and yeah, I got to do a lot of stuff to get ready to play, and I've got to wear a compression glove on my left hand because my wrist and hand, I got terrible arthritis, and I've had to modify the way you play the game. Um, what is it? WASD. I can't hit those keys. I never could. So I use ASDF, and that seems to work out pretty good. And then I got my utility, you know, basically assigned the keys that I can hit. Um, so, and of course I'm old, my reactions are slow. But the more I practice, the better I get, and so yeah, I love it. I love this stupid
I
game. I say it's a stupid game because we're all, whether it's Counter-Strike or pro football or basketball, we're grown men playing little boys' games.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I love it. I love it. I'm a very
That's
competitive person, and this is a nice outlet for that.
this is the world that our ancestors fought for us to be able to live in. So I'm glad we get to soak it in and enjoy this time we have playing these games, because I think they bring us together really well too. I think there's a lot of look at these friends that you've made
Yes.
playing this game. Um, I think about all the friends I've made, and I mean, just getting to do like interviews and getting to meet all these people that I get to do. I think these games, as toxic as the communities can be, especially in these solo queue pugs and the online environment, um, go to a LAN where like these same people that you hear are toxic and awful to each other online, you see who they really are in person, and there's just so much community and brotherhood and camaraderie at these events. It's they can be a little cliquey. Everybody likes to hang out in their spots, but we're all gamers that like to spend time inside. So there's a little bit of antisocialness involved in that. But I agree. I love these games a lot, and I think they mean the world to the majority of the people that play them as well. So to be able to get to be a part of that and honor it is pretty incredible. I want to talk more about your warm up routine. You're drinking Monster, and okay. You said you have some slow reaction times, but I also want to ask: do you have those days or those moments where that's how I feel? And I just turned 35. As I'm getting older and not able to like play as quickly as some of these kids I play
I
against,
can't even
but like,
remember 35.
well, do you still have these moments where you feel like like you feel on in that day? Like, do you have those days where you're like, oh, okay, I'm locked in, and you're like pre-firing every angle, or are those pretty few and far between?
They can be pretty far and few between, but I have good days too and good games. Uh, and when I do, well, okay, for example, Saturday night, we played a game on Anubis, and I had a total of 4 frags. 3 of them were in a 1v3 clutch. And Wreckmeister and Rome, they get more excited than I do. You know, Alex usually screams out something like, "E-Rab, you're insane!" And how did you do that? And I attribute it to having my eyes closed. Um, and then in the the last round of the game, I got the last kill and we won. Um, there was one game I only had 6 frags, but all of them were in. All my frags were in clutches. Um, and there's been games where I've had a decent amount of frags, but of course there's a lot more to the game than just fragging. Um, I spend a lot of time practicing and learning utility. Um, and of course, when they need late in the round, when they need somebody to sacrifice themselves so they know where all the defenders are, that's me. Um,
Great information gatherer, reconnaissance man.
Cannon fodder. Um, yeah, but even that's contributing to the team.
Oh yeah.
You know. Um, and the great thing about these guys, nobody expects me to do more than I can. Which is a great relief most of the time. Um, like I said, these guys are they're not my friends. They're my brothers, my friends. Um, Yeah. And when I do well, like, a couple of them get way more excited than I do. Alex is almost like a cheerleader sometimes. I've
Yeah.
yeah, and he's taken a lot of time with me, and I've learned so much from him. I've learned so much from all of them, but especially him. Um, yeah, it's all of that's been a great experience. Um, it's an oversimplification, but people get surprised when I say, um, gaming saved my life. When when my son was little and we were playing split screen, I had a very demanding job. I volunteered in his school. Um, I raced a bicycle. I was, my days were full. And it happened gradually, but it seemed like overnight I went from all that. My arthritis and everything and the chronic pain and fatigue was overwhelming, and I was missing so much time at work. Um, they finally said bye-bye. Um, so I felt like I went from all that to nothing overnight. And basically, I was sitting on my couch watching old westerns. And my son got me involved in video games. Um, First playing with him, of course, and then it was XCOM when that first came out. He's like, "Dad, you got to get this game." And I did, and it was a lot of fun. We got the Witcher 3 together, and
Mm.
at the end of it, yeah, I have almost 500 hours in that game.
Yeah, same. I was just gonna say I have like that's one of the only single player games I have like hundreds of hours
Yeah,
in.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we would compare war stories afterwards. That was a lot of fun. Um, but my biggest thrill was when I was starting to play Counter Strike. So that really, there were so many things I couldn't do, but I could do this, and
Right.
it made a huge change in my life for the better. And then, of course, hooking up with these guys, um, that even made it better still. So, yeah, in a very real way, it saved my life. And I was 65 when I got the game. Um, you're never too old to start something.
No.
Uh,
No, you're not.
well, a lot of people don't feel that way. Um, there's nobody my age that I know that plays this game, or any game actually.
Do you ever talk to people your age, like friends you have in your age group, and talk to them about the fact you're playing it, or try to get them to sit down at your computer and give it a spin?
Um, I don't try and get them to sit down and give it a spin. But I do tell them about it. The article in Dust 2, um, I sent to everybody. I knew. I was a little proud about that one. And they even, in fact, a there's a Swedish publication. Um, that's kind of like Dust 2 US, except that it's, I don't know, something other, and it's only in
Is it
Swedish.
dust? Is it dust2.se?
No, no, and I can't think of the name, but I used to follow them all the time because they had you just clicked on this thing and it translated everything into English, but they don't have that anymore. But they picked up the story, and even Olaf Meister gave me a shout out.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, okay, said I was a beast, and so did Vilga,
Y- y-
who's another favorite player of mine. Yeah, I mean, you're getting recognition from people like that, and it's like, Andy Warhol was right. I'm getting a solid 20 minutes of fame here, um, maybe a few more even. So, yeah, there for a little while. I was living after that article came out. I was living in a dream world. You know, and people would play what we would play would ask if it's if it's me. Um, Immediately after the story, like maybe for 2 days. But yeah, that was really nice.
Well, I was gonna ask too. How did Dust? I appreciate you sharing this stuff about that because I was gonna ask about the Dust 2 article and what that was like because I know that article got like it was a very viewed article by a lot of people within the scene. How did Dust 2 approach you and get that article written?
Um, Remember what I said about Alex being a cheerleader?
I was gonna say, does it have something to do with Alex?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He Oh yeah, if I if I hit global elite or whatever I do, he gets so excited and he posts it on Twitter or whatever they call that these days. And
Yeah, it's still Twitter.
yeah, it's still Twitter to me. Anyway,
Yep, it's still Twitter to me, so I'm gonna keep calling it that.
yeah, he put it on Twitter and I think he sent it to somebody at Dust 2. Um, and then they wanted to interview me, um, or write down some of my, how it all came about and that sort of thing. And that's how I got to that. I mean, Alex does a lot. I think he could, I think if he would have, the time he spends on and with me, if he put that into his own Counter-Strike, I think he would have won 3 majors by now. Um, no, it's great. He's a great guy and a good friend.
Alex is a very selfless person. He's been showing a lot of diehard support for this little thing that I'm doing over the last couple of months. So I've gotten to experience a little bit of that as well. He's a peach.
Yeah, yeah. He loves your. What is this? A podcast or whatever it
Well, I
is?
don't
He
know.
loves it.
It's my internet talk show. That's what I call it right now. Listen, I'm just trying. I've been thinking of maybe turning this. This can get Alex excited when he's watching this. I've been thinking about maybe turning this into a once a week live broadcast where it's like an actual talk show and we pick a subject with the guest that we have and whatnot. So we're spitballing some new ideas. But yeah, the whole point is Alex is a very, very supportive community member, and it just makes me really happy to hear those kinds of the way he's been so supportive for you. And I just hope good things continue to happen. We hope good things continue to happen for you, Alex. We love you, and you're doing great work out there. But don't forget about your own Counter-Strike, damn it, because we need you to save North America.
Yeah. No
As a
kidding.
matter of fact, that is going to be my. I only have a few more questions here for you, but what do you have any thoughts on the state of North American Counter-Strike? I know you're an Olaf fan, and you already said that you were disappointed that Cloud9 won the major 7 years ago. So you may be the only North American Counter-Strike player, at least that I've ever talked to, that feels that way. So I'm wondering, do you have any opinions about North American Counter-Strike as a whole, or the pro scene? What do you see for the future of Counter-Strike?
Well, I don't know. I never really followed North American Counter-Strike until recently with Alex, because he's working his way up the ranks, and he likes to talk about North American Counter-Strike and the teams and so on and so forth. But I followed the European teams. Starting with Olaf Meister on Fnatic and then FaZe Clan, but I followed the European scene, which sometimes when we're playing makes for interesting situations because what the Europeans use for callouts isn't necessarily the same as what Americans use for callouts. And, Alex will say something, yeah, go up short. I'm like, short? What are you talking about? Yeah, Anubis. They call, what do they call that? They call it connector, when you're coming through the water and going onto the B site. In Europe, they call that connector and something else.
An E-box.
And E-box, yeah, that's in North America they call it E-box, and that's made for some interesting call-outs. And then I know, according to Alex, there's a banana on every map.
What?
Yeah. He's all the time. I'm going up banana, and I'm like, when did we get on Inferno?
Yeah, there's banana on Inferno, and I think people have used banana to refer to ancient, like the speedway sometimes up there, that between like Ramp and Cat on ancient, but banana is Inferno.
Yeah. That's that brings up another disappointment with Valve. There used to be on Inferno, on Banana, there used to be a little plaque, saying that Freiburg was the king of banana or something.
King of banana.
And like on Dust 2, up in T-Spawn, there used to be like a painting from when Fnatic had they wanted to win the last round, and so everybody had an AWP or an auto sniper, and just mowed the guys down trying to get to the B site. There's several others. They just, when they redo the map, they just leave them off. It's like they're destroying their own history. I wish they wouldn't do that. I mean, granted, NIP winning the major and Freiburg being the king of banana was a long time ago, but it's part of the game's history. I mean, I still get a kick when we play Cash. I see the the thing where Simple jumped or fell off the balcony and hit a no scope. I still love the on Mirage, the Cold Zero. There, right at the end of apartments, the balcony or porch or whatever that is, where he's jumping up and hitting all the no scopes. Or Olaf's burning defuse. They have a little painting on the side of the building on overpass. I like that stuff, but then, having been a journalist most of my life, history's kind of my thing, but I think that's stuff they should keep. The tradition of the game.
Well, and it's those little things that make each map special. Like you said, the history of the game contributes to what makes the game so special. Is this is a game that has almost 30 years of experience built into it with all these stories and everything. So to take that stuff out, yeah, it is. I didn't like that either. Okay, Eddie, I've got two final questions here for you. One, where did you come up with the name E-Rab, and what does it mean?
It means you take the letters East, red, and black. That's the E-Rabs. That's my high school. It's their mascot, except nobody knows what the hell a E-Rab is because, but that's exactly what it stands for, East, red, and black. And I may be the only one from East High School that's ever played the game. I don't know. Nobody else has tried to take that name, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, it comes from my high school.
I like that. All right, and then my last question here for you is the same question I ask everybody, and this one can be Counter-Strike related or life in general, whatever you wanna talk about. But this is your opportunity to kind of get on a soapbox and preach. If you could speak to a younger version of yourself that's uh, the age of some of these guys, if you could speak to like a 20-year-old version of yourself, what would be some advice that you'd want to give them right now, or just kind of speak to the younger generation? I change the wording on this question every time, but I hope I've made it clear as mud at least.
Get a computer and play Counter-Strike. Of course, the game didn't come out until what, 99? Yeah, when it was part of Half-Life TV or something. So yeah, I wish I had I would have told my younger self to get involved with Counter-Strike. Maybe starting with 1.6 or something, and uh, because I've enjoyed it and it's been such a great experience for me, and I've made all these good friends. Um, what would I tell myself? Oh yeah, have fun. I'm one of those people that I very rarely took a vacation because I don't know. I was very work oriented, and the things that I chose for my hobby, um, like I always wanted to go sports car racing. I did a little bit of driving, very little, in the family car. Um, yeah, well, unfortunately I had a really bad crash, and it looked like an elephant sat on the family car. That was kind of interesting. Um, I was in a pit crew for years, and it was great. I got to participate in the 12 Hours of Sebring, which was my favorite race growing up. I was really big into auto racing, um, but it was all work. Um, I raced a bicycle. That's fun and very rewarding, but it's all work. You have to live for the bike. Um, of course, there I was, almost 50 years old, and I weighed what I did in high school. My legs were fat and my stomach was thin. Since then, I've reversed that terribly dangerous situation. Um, but yeah, I guess enjoy the moment. I didn't do enough of that um, growing up. I'm certainly trying to do it now, and like I said, with these with Alex and Andrew with Big Beef Harrison, and R54 is Rome, and there was Slip, and there was Red Shot and Germs that have joined us more recently and play games, and they've made it very, they've not only been great friends, but also helped me enjoy it in the moment. And yeah, I'm very competitive, and I want to do my very best. I take my practice seriously, but we always have fun. And really, that's what it's all about. So, and yes, LTP too. Uh, Played with her a couple times now. She's a lot of fun.
She's a hoot.
Yeah, yeah, nice girl. I wonder if she's into old fat guys.
That's well, yeah. I think that's some lovely advice. Just living in the moment and having fun. Yeah, I think a lot of us, especially at this age, we're at that moment where it's like we're thinking we have to set ourselves up for the rest of our lives, and that fun is meant to be had later when we've worked for it. And it's like, no, we've got to stop and smell the roses and enjoy our time along the way. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. And of course, spend as much time as possible with our cats.
Yeah, he definitely is hell bent on spending as much time as possible with me as well, as you can tell. He's a crucial part of these. And yes, Bertrand here. Do you want to talk a little bit about Bertrand before we dip out of here? He's been up on the screen this entire time for everybody.
I love talking about Bertrand. You may have to cut me off. I've had cats for 40 years. I can thank my ex-wife. We have a wonderful son together, and I hated cats. I grew up with dogs. I didn't know. Um, and she had a cat when we were going out. She goes, "Hey, love me, love my cat," and I did. I did, and I found out. I mean, we were pals. By the time he passed away, he was like 16 or 17. He was as much my cat as hers, and I've had cats ever since. I had a cat named Neo who was, you read about cats that are very perceptive, and if you're sad, they'll come and be with you, or they'll run around and be cute. They'll try and do what's. Oh my! I'm glad he's not spoiled.
Yeah, I'm glad he's not spoiled. Yeah.
So we had Neo. He lived till he was 16. Um, and when he passed, oh God, the whole apartment was just empty. I could only stand it for a few days, and I was at the shelter. And so we got that little stinker. He was just, they said they could tell by the pads on his feet or something. He'd been a stray for a long time, and but he was so cute. He was at the county dog pound, and he was scheduled to be put down, and this animal shelter grabbed him, and that's where I got him. And he is the silliest cat that ever lived. There's yeah. Whenever he does anything, he thinks of the most back-asswards way of doing it. He's a riot. He makes me laugh every day, and he's a good little pal. And once during a Counter-Strike game, I was about ready to make a move, and he grabbed my arm.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's he needed one attention, and he needed it now.
And at that exact moment.
Yeah. Well, he's a little bit better now because when I get on the computer and play, he knows he gets treats.
Oh.
Yeah, so he doesn't mind me playing unless it gets to be too long. So yeah, especially on game night, because if I get on the computer and I got my headset on and I'm talking to people, it's like, okay, fork over the treats, man. But yeah, he's. I live alone. I lived with my son for a number of years. And then he got this beautiful girlfriend, and they're together now. And he makes a huge difference. Yeah, Bertrand he's a million laughs. He's named after the philosopher Bertrand Russell for no apparent reason.
I just like that when you told me this cat's name was Bertrand, I was like, yep, that looks like the right name for that cat. Like that's a Bertrand for sure.
Yeah.
I love that name. All right, Eddie. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on here and doing this with me. I'm glad we finally got around to do it. I'm glad we're finally back on laying it down. We've got more episodes coming. Eddie, do you have any plugs that are like shout outs you want to give before we say goodbye?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Alex, Germs, Andrew, Rome, Red Shot, LTP, Slip. Who am I got? Oh, Luke. Thanks, man. And I'm sure a few I'm forgetting, but thanks. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for your friendship. It means the world to me. And Alex, we better be playing Friday night. Yeah. And it's and your show. It sounds like the show is like what do they call that? HLTV confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And Tech Girl has something. It's got a more fun name, but yeah, something like that. And you got different guests on all the time. That would be really cool. I would watch that.
We're gonna make it happen. All right. Well, I appreciate the kind words, Eddie. Thank you, and thank you for coming up here on the show with us. We appreciate you having you here, and yeah, thank you, Momo. Thank you, Garcon, and thank you all at home for watching. That is it.